Welcome back to those of you who've been hanging with me some time, and welcome to those who are new to my channel. I'm Adele Levine, and before we get started, I would just like to ask if everyone could please subscribe and comment. I usually actually answer most of your comments, and you could give it a little like too. That would be awesome. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, this is a subject that has come up quite a bit, right? Are there negative spirits? So the reason why I decided to do this video, not to mention it's been asked a million times about this type of thing, are there negative spirits? I did a video before on are there attachments, and that's a little different than is there actually spirits that are negative. Okay, I have to get a little sip from my, well, this is actually a railroad like markings. It's not magical, just in case you're wondering. It's actually the different markings that people who would hop railroads. I just thought it was cool, that's all. Okay, so segue. Is there negative spirits is the question that's asked a lot. So I did a class recently on online, which was about taking people into a little bit of a journey. I mean, the class wasn't really about that. It was about spirit communication, and before I kind of do spirit communication and explain it, I'd like to take people into that realm, which, by the way, a little plug, I'm doing a class on the 14th online, which is solely going to be this journey. It's not a meditation, it's more of a journey. Excuse me. It's more of a journey where I take people into that realm, into the other side. That's what's actually going to be called, go into the other side. And honestly, one of the reasons why I actually have this mug is because one of the things I love about trains and train stations is it definitely feels almost like the in-between, almost like that same energy of going through the veil, the railroad, train, and the tracks and such. So anyway, back to the class. So I am doing a class on solely taking people on this journey. People have asked for it because it's one of the things I do in all my classes. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because when I do these types of classes, what are people concerned about the most? Is there something negative going to come to me? Is there something negative going to be attached to me? Okay, first of all, attached. Definitely go watch my video on spirit attachment, and I'll explain that. Are there negative spirits? Yes and no, and I'm going to explain. Yes, there are bad boys and girls. That's what I call them. There are people who died who kind of like the idea of messing with you. Pretty simple as that. It's very rare that there's demonic spirits. And I've done a video. I don't want to keep saying I've done a video. I know Mystic Dylan teases me about this, but it's mostly why I did the videos, so I can direct people to other types of information that I have given, so that if I mention it, then I can say, listen, if you want the full explanation, you can watch this here. So I can stick on topic. So, attachments is not a thing either. And so let me explain about negative spirits. I'm going to give you a little bit of a couple of examples. For instance, when people talk about hauntings and they talk about, things that are coming into a place that's like, this place is haunted. I've again done a video, which I'm going to laugh at myself about, but that's not really what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to say more about the haunting and the idea of haunting. When spirits know that everyone is going to a certain place to speak to them, then they all tend to gather. And by the way, a lot of the times it's the negative, quote unquote, ones that like to go there. So in other words, if people are looking for to be scared, something that's disturbing, then they'll give you that. I myself have gone to different places that are deemed as haunted, and I can talk to those spirits and rationalize with them. I know that sounds strange, but I have to respect them. You have to respect all spirits, including the ones you may not care for, because just because they're dead doesn't mean you get to run rampant and be rude and awful to them. I know that sounds strange, but you can't, especially those who have been murdered or hurt in some kind of way. And a lot of times when people are talking about negative spirits, they actually refer to that. They're not even referring to the person who did the deed. They're usually referring to spirits who have had something negative done to them. And so therefore they're treated as afterlife, as spirits, as ghosts, which ghosts are different than spirit. Ghosts are energies that seem to not realize they're dead. Spirits are more common, and they tend to talk to them like, like they did something, like, show us, what happened to you, and what was, why are you upset, and, kind of yelling at them. And they don't like that. They're not going to respond to that. They're not going to show themselves to you. They're not going to allow you to, I'm not saying all the time, I'm sure people will share stories of times, but they don't tend to like this at all. Negative spirits are energies to me, are spirits that decided to mess with you. So they want to kind of make your life a little interesting. So if you are looking for this type of thing, there are energies that want to push something off the floor, onto the floor, like a book, have it fly, or knocking, or a really creepy feeling that you get. They raise their vibration, because spirits are just a frequency, and when they want to make their presence even louder, then they turn the volume up on their frequency. And so they will do things like that to alarm you and to startle you and to get you scared, because you pretty much have been asking for it. However, let's say you're someone who's like, listen, Adele, I wasn't asking for it. I just walked into this place and I felt an energy that felt angry and things like this. Not all the time are they trying to be angry at you or trying to hurt you. They may be trying to convey something that's happened to them in this life, and they're just showing you the feelings. So in other words, when I'm doing readings and I'm doing medium readings, I feel whatever that energy is feeling. And so in other words, if someone feels sad, the energy comes through me of sadness. If someone feels happy, the energy, this is telepathic talking. So what people don't understand, it's not like really directed at you. They're communicating to you. This is something that happened to them. This is something they're upset about. They want to even kind of take you into the moment. And so if they aren't really well conscious and high conscious energies, they don't realize that they are upsetting you. And if they don't realize they died, which is ghosts, meaning that they are spirits that are kind of looping time and the same thing over and over, they absolutely don't realize it. So for example, I'll give you an example. I did a house cleansing once where the man was very upset that he died in this house, and the way he died was not nice. His family was not nice to him. They kind of just left him there to die, and he started running havoc in the house. Now the people who wanted me to cleanse it didn't even really believe in this sort of thing, but they kept having their TV be broken. They had their water pipes have some problems. Their garage door had some problems. And I actually even did this by remote viewing, and I could see, because spirits don't have to exist in the house. And that's the other thing. They don't have to live in the house, okay? Because it's not necessary to be in a certain space. But was he kind of letting these people know that he wanted someone to realize that he died there? Well, yes, because when he talked to me, and they were able to confirm, by the way, that when they moved in, they heard of an older man who died there in the very room that I remote viewed and saw. So yes, were they upset? Or he was upset, yes. And the people, of course, were upset that this activity was happening. That's what made them finally reach out, because it was just too odd of things happening. He basically told me, my family just left me here to die, and then they just kind of threw me into a called the morgue, and no one really cared. So once I explained to him that I understand you're upset and you want someone to know, but these people have a right to live here and you can't make their life a living hell, so to speak. You can't be doing this to them. He understood, and he just asked for some respect and acknowledgement, and to like plant a plant somewhere. It was a whole thing, and so he stopped doing it. Okay, that is someone who actually is being a bad boy, but isn't doing it. It's almost like doing it out of forgetting the boundaries, because that's the next thing I want to explain. There are boundaries between this world and the next, and there are gatekeepers of those boundaries, and to make sure that the spirit isn't going too far and that we're not going too far, that the two worlds are interacting in a respectful and non-interference way. And that is why you can't go around yelling at them and demanding things of them, just as much as they're not allowed to create havoc. Do they? Yes. And that is when they need to be put into their place. So it's not negative like demonic. It's just like a person who's negative. It's like someone here on earth who's like being a very negative Nancy, and you're like, wow, you're just always kind of trying to bring me down, and you're pissed off and you're taking your anger out on me. That's kind of what's going on. So when I've dealt with spirits like this, I am respectful. I say, listen, I understand you're upset. I understand that you feel like you weren't cared for, but you can't continue to do this. And I come in very respectfully. And by the way, I have done this with spirits who have done damage to people, who have harmed people in this world. I have to tread lightly with that. You can't just run over them. Here's the reason why. Because when you're doing that, you're basically acting like your power is more powerful than them. And they will show you that it is not, that you guys are equal. What they can do and manifest and create in this world, and energetically, like create like a something moving or something, paranormal activity, they will show you that they're just as real as you. That's pretty much what they're doing. So they're saying, if you're going to yell and you're going to be disrespectful, I'm going to show you. On the other hand, it doesn't mean you tiptoe around them and you don't say, listen, I know you're just being a bad boy and girl, but can you please stop, creating this? Or, you're welcome here. Do not say that. But can you please let up? You can't say that as well. You can't be so careful. You have to say, listen, enough's enough. I get that you want to kind of make your presence known, but I'm over it and you need to stop. And they will stop. That's what you need to do. So what I mean by bad boys and girls when I talk about negative energies is there are most spirits that I have dealt with are on a higher vibration and want to be conscious. They want to raise to a high consciousness, and they want to be evolved, and they want to communicate, and they want to be in this lovely way. And every once in a while there's these spirits that also come in that say, I just want to create havoc. I'm pissed off about how I died, or I'm kind of annoyed at how I just don't want to evolve. I don't want to be a higher conscious being. I like the fact that I can kind of upset people and make their life a little bit difficult. So they're not trying to grow. So that's the most important thing you need to know. That is, to me, really the definition of a negative spirit. It's just like someone who's being negative, who's choosing not to evolve, not to look at themselves, not to see what they are bringing to the table or not bringing to the table. Are they really trying to grow and have a higher consciousness? It's just like here. So what do you do about it if you're having an experience? By the way, a lot of the times what you think is negative isn't always negative. Sometimes it's just scary because you're just not used to feeling the spirit world. So it's not always something negative. But if it really feels like something is throwing things around or creating havoc, then you need to get firm and you have to demand it to go, cleanse your space, and do all that sort of thing. And you can't act like, sometimes I'm going to call people out. People will say things like, oh, the spirit just, I don't know, just likes me so much and wants to come around. That's you maybe feeling like you want to be special in the moment. Come on, you have control. They don't have to run amok over you. So don't say that. When people say that, I'm like, no. You can demand things to stop. You can demand to shut things down. But you have to do it like you mean it. And if you sort of are enjoying this and you kind of are a little bit curious, and you're like, oh, these things are happening, but I don't know, it's kind of interesting to me, they can hear and feel your energy. So if you sort of are wanting it, you're not exactly stating. It's kind of like saying to someone, can you please leave my house? Please leave my house, but I mean, kind of leave my house, like you have a look of curiosity. It doesn't quite come off the same as like, you need to go, right? Then if you're kind of like, I don't know, I'm kind of interested in this person, but I kind of like, I don't know, I feel kind of weird. You have to be firm. So if you don't want this to happen, you need to know and be firm about it. You can't be on the fence. If you saying, I want to have interaction with the spirit world and I want to sense and feel, but I want it to be only from my grandma or from my grandpa or from my best friend from when I was a kid or whatever, then you need to state those facts. You need to say things like, only this person or only this person, everyone else get the hell out, and put protection. And what I mean by out, it's not like they're coming into your house. I want people to be really clear. When you're experiencing this type of thing, they're just raising their frequency up and higher, and they're letting themselves known. This realm is always with us. It's a realm within a realm. So when they really want to make themselves known, they're just turning the volume up. And when you don't want it, you're like asking, turn that volume off. Okay? So if you want to know different things, I'm sorry, I'm messing with my hair, different things that you could do to create that, I do have a video on cleansing. I do want to do like a better video on house cleansing and spiritual cleansing specific, but anything you're doing with incense and sprays and all of that jazz and crystals and things are good, but it's really, really important to create that intention. So the next time you're terrified and you're scared, maybe take a look at what is really happening. Is it really, it's not, don't jump to the whole demonic thing. Even shadow people and all this kind of stuff that I've covered on this channel, it is not always what it seems. Always remember this. Sometimes just what we don't understand, what is new to us, what is not familiar to us, we get afraid of. So I hope that helps. Thank you guys so much. Go ahead and follow me here and subscribe, and also on Instagram, Adele Levine. Also, The Witch in the Medium is a podcast I co-host. We also have a YouTube channel that we just posted a video on, The Witch in the Medium, and you can check my stuff out over there. I don't tend to go to Facebook very much. I'm trying to maybe somewhat post because there's still people who like Facebook, but I'm mostly on Instagram and on here. And follow yourself, follow no one, listen to that inner voice, remember, trust it, and I'll see you guys soon.